Good evening, everyone. Welcome to America's Third Party, and welcome to our Technology Thursday show. Hello. You're going to see through the back door of what we're looking at every day when we adjust our cameras. I wanted to show you this. This is a Logitech camera that I'm working with, and it's prosumer quality, of course, HD 920 it's called, and it's a C920, and it is requiring me to go in every day and adjust its inputs. It doesn't have a sticky feature, which is really interesting. An American-made product like this, produced overseas, yet it doesn't have software to make it so that I can just always broadcast perfectly. I have to redo it every single day. So I wanted to show you the backside of this process, and it is time consumer, very, very time consuming. So as you can see, I'm adjusting it. So it makes you wonder, why is software not up to speed all the time? Why are we always dealing with kind of sloppy stuff? Well, in about a day, you're going to be facing a huge decision. Windows 10 is coming to a close. They're not going to offer it for free. They're going to charge you for it. So you're on the verge right now of deciding, many of you, should I upgrade from Windows 8 to Windows 10? And we just had that discussion earlier with our pre-show, which was a cooking show, in which we were using our brand new laptop, and we actually crashed twice getting that going for the 5 o'clock startup time. So we started at a quarter till, and we actually crashed twice, which is interesting. That something like a gaming computer running an Intel i7 fourth generation chip with 12 gigabytes of RAM should crash every time a third-party program like XSplit Broadcaster starts up. I mean, there's no reason for this, but the real reason is there is no standardization. There is no uniformity. Our government isn't leading in the tech sector, and they never have. So we're going to be opening up the chat room now in our main studio. Good evening. You have Windows 10 since they gave it out. Are you happy with it, Dogbone? Is that something you really enjoy? Would you recommend that I download that, or do you think that there's NSA spyware in it? All right. We're not sure what that meant, so I had to purge it. I'm going to try to purge more often tonight. That was a mute. Sorry about that. We will be doing everything we can to minimize the hostile statements coming to the chat room. Because we are operating without any moderators, sometimes we have to do some, pretty aggressive things to kind of get the chat room to run properly. We've been doing this for over 7 years. No other group in the world has put so much effort into a nightly show as we have. And it's not a Windows problem. Okay, then I don't think we should worry about it then. It's an allocation of memory problem, I thought. Well, we'll see if we can get it to run better next time. We've always had to restart the program XSplit on the gaming computer from scratch. So we could never keep a copy of that. Just like Logitech doesn't have a sticky feature. Well, with XSplit and the gaming computer, there's some sort of incompatibility, and I just don't know what it is. I don't think anyone does. I do like fish sticks. I'm getting some fish sticks from the East Coast, Atlantic Ocean right now. Thanks for asking, 392. Yeah, we're getting Fisher Boy fish sticks, which is made in New Hampshire from Atlantic Fish. Pretty interesting. I don't think anybody can really say for sure where their fish is coming from. So I try to look at the label and see where they're manufacturing it. But as you know, that the concept of eating fish is getting a little weird with the Fukushima crisis. The fact that our government hasn't done a dang thing to stop this endless drain of radiation into the ocean. 6 swimming pools filled with water drain off of the hill through that reactor groundwater leak and goes right into the Pacific Ocean, which is disastrous for humanity. And our president has done nothing to stop it. It's really sad, isn't it? Last night we had Wasteful Wednesday. We talked about ending the police state, a way of saving money. But it's kind of an interesting topic to discuss because with Technology Thursday, we are looking at robocops and the future of what would be called cybernetics. And there's really no democratic action against the reckless use of these types of things. So we'd like to talk about that tonight and the dangers of AI. So get ready to rumble. As usual, we're offering our Keep America Great plan, which offers every U.S. citizen over the age of 18 $400 a month. Isn't that great? Once you're 18, you can start living on your own and survive, even if you have to live in a tent. So we don't want people to be left out, especially considering all the money Wall Street executives like Donald Trump has gotten from the Federal Reserve. And you didn't get anything. So there's a reason why he's a billionaire, because he borrows tons of money. We want to give money back to the country and to help spawn the economy, to trigger new growth. You know, I don't talk about my underwear here, so I really can't comment. I'm going to plead the fifth on that one. You can do better than that, really. You're reaching pretty low there. Some of you bottom dwellers are saying things that just don't work in the room, so we will be muting you. Never before seen images reveal how the Fukushima exclusion zone was swallowed by nature. This should be interesting. Hey, Sunstar, welcome. Welcome to the most famous now interactive political chat room in the country. As you know, we're really kind of growing in numbers around the world, and we really appreciate that. One of the reasons why I think people, especially Trump supporters, are beginning to think of voting my name in is I want to actually prosecute Obama. Trump won't commit to that. And you'll ask Trump, if you can ask him right now if he'll prosecute Obama, he won't answer. Because he's being controlled by the same handlers that got you Barack Obama. The very same people that own the two-party system and keep all of us from ever uniting in the center. Those people buy Hillary and Donald's like it was nothing. It's easy to buy people like that because they're greedy. I am unbuyable. I don't believe in money as a sole venture in life. I don't purposely go out of my way to pad my pockets. I live very humbly. It's this essence of non-materialism that I embrace because it's given me freedom at a very young age. Most people can't achieve what I've achieved at a young age. I literally retired at the age of 50. Not because I've got loads of money in the bank, but because I know what I need and I know I have enough equity to survive on the rest of my life. So it's that type of planning that gets you to the next step and helps you retire younger. So always think about living below your means, and you won't have to be answering to credit card collectors when you're 75 years old. A lot of people are really kind of blowing it that way. I know a guy who makes $250,000 a year in the tech sector. He works for a pretty aggressive company. He travels all around the world. He's a sales manager. But I asked him, I said, how did you buy your new car? Because he just bought a new Porsche. And he said, well, he took out a loan. So you took out a loan for a used Porsche? I mean, is that a joke? Seriously? Okay, Dave, you ready to go to war against somebody from North Korea? No, I don't think Kim Jong-il or Kim Jong-un will possibly be a threat. Especially when he hears from me and I make a phone call to him, because nobody talks to him from this country. Barack Obama hasn't called him and said, well, make no mistake about it. Let's be clear. He doesn't call him. He sends Dennis Rodman over there to talk to him. So I will make a phone call to Kim Jong-un, if he'll take my call, and I'll explain to him that we will not be ever invading him by ground, ever. In fact, as a show of faith, we're going to pull back from the war games we currently engage in with South Korea at their border. So there won't be a ground attack. That's not to say we won't have 17,000 U.S. troops there like we do now, but we won't engage in the ground war gaming activity that South Korea engages in. It's simply for their own defenses, but I think they can do it themselves now. They've done it about almost 45 years now they've been doing this. All right. Let's ask the big question. Why did Trump contact Putin in requested 30,000 emails that were illegally hacked by the Russian government? Does Trump know that it is illegal to do that? To violate the Logan Act like that and contact another foreign dignitary looking for dirt on Hillary? I mean, what is he up to? No, it's not flawed. I've done all the math on it. I can fund this entire program for the same amount that Barack Obama put ARRA together, American Recovery and Reinvestment Act. And even if this was the extent of our over budget for 4 years, I'd still be doing a lot better than Obama did over a 4-year period. So you've got to ask yourself, what's wrong with giving the American people money? Explain that to me. Some of you naysayers, I'd like to know. Well, apparently Trump sent a message to everyone that he was seeking help from Putin to get 30,000 emails. That was in the news yesterday. Now, I find that really weird. There's something very strange about it. It's almost as weird as when 2 weeks ago Donald Trump said that Saddam Hussein, he had a lot of endorsement for Saddam Hussein's getting rid of terrorism. It just shocks me when I have to say these words. He was endorsing Saddam Hussein's ability to get rid of terrorists. And he didn't even know that Saddam Hussein didn't even have any terrorists in Iraq during his reign. He had a war against Iran and a war against the U.S. He didn't have terrorism problems. So it's ironic this guy's got history wrong. He endorses Saddam Hussein, and now he's reaching out to Putin. What is his problem? He's really kind of blowing it everywhere. Trump seems to be a moron. Thank you, Clarence Dave. It's about time you came in here. I know. You got a point, Clarence Dave. We used to have this name. People called me Discount Dave, and I said it's better like Clarence Dave. It sounds better. Discount Dave just is too much of an alliteration. Never before seen images reveal how the Fukushima exclusion zone was swallowed by nature. A Polish photographer traveled to the site of the reactor nuclear disaster last month to see the location with his own eyes, and he obtained permits to enter the roughly 12.5 mile exclusion zone around the reactor. It's actually 6 reactors there. According to him, he says it's not earthquakes or tsunamis that are to blame for the disaster at the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power station, but rather humans. Humans are to blame. Wow. So these are all the abandoned vehicles that are slowly swallowed up by nature on a stretch of road near the power plant. This is so strange. Look at this. This is a road that had to stop when the attack occurred. Yeah, we have a lot of viewers from all over the world right now. By the way, the Vaughn network that we're broadcasting on is censored. So in case you were wondering about the viewer count, he's been keeping it at an artificially low level for some time because they don't want to prosecute Obama. They don't want to end the police state. And they certainly don't want to deal with Fukushima. So they're going to censor anybody who's putting together a political party in the center of the political movement. Right now, we are seeing people all over the country leaving the Democratic Party. Bernie supporters are saying, where is a guy who can represent the people? I'm a former Democrat, guys. I know why you felt Bernie would have helped you. I just feel that I could do it better. And I'm much more on point with dealing with Wall Street excesses because I personally can't stand what's going on in our country where we give Wall Street welfare out. And people come into our room and talk about how people shouldn't get $400 per person per month. It boggles my mind that welfare recipients, corporate welfare recipients like Donald Trump, can get away with billions of dollars in loans, and people can't even get any money to survive. It makes me sick to my stomach. So yeah, I carry the Bernie torch. And if you like, I'll even talk like Bernie. I want to know more about the emails now. I'm tired. I'm sorry I didn't ask Hillary about the emails, but I'm willing to ask her. Why did you get rid of all those emails? Are you culpable? Are you involved in Benghazi? Wouldn't that be great if we could get him to say that? But no, he can't. All right, and then I think we're going to pull a lot of what are called Tea Party people into our fold, because Tea Party people, it resonates. Our fiscal conservative plan resonates with them. We're going to cut the cost of government by 50%. Hey, it's Christmas in July. Are you guys shopping? Thank you. Boy, you guys must be worried about the ascent worldwide of all the people watching our show. You can't seem to stop the UHF channels from broadcasting us. It's amazing. Okay, let's take a look here. Some of the cars have entirely disappeared in the wild grass. You got some nice cars there. I mean, you could probably make some decent money with radioactive cars in the Japanese marketplace. Too bad it's illegal. I'm kidding, of course. It's a joke. You're not shopping? It's not Christmas in July for you? Sunstar says being on a fixed income monthly is tough. Well, if you get more than $400 a month right now, your money would stay the same. If you're getting disability or Social Security, your money stays the same. We're not going to change that. Once we assess the budget, then we're going to look at much higher COLA increases in your payments. COLA, cost of living allowance standards, have been really low for Social Security recipients. 2% increases. It's nothing. You know, refugees are getting more money than that. Well, believe me, I'm not in any way trying to silence you. Somebody says you can't silence us, David. Muting and banning is pointless. You're not violating any restrictions here. You're not demoralizing me. So I'm leaving whatever you want to write here on the issues, guys. It's always been about the focus on the issues, not demoralization or hating on anybody. Well, yeah, the cookie show is kind of a nice reprieve from this. Sorry, I'm talking politics. You may want to try one of the cam girl sites that are out there. I mean, seriously, if you don't like it here. No, this is not a clip-on tie. That's a funny question, though. You want me to prove it to you? It's just a great tie. It's industrial. I can wear this in a Fukushima war zone. It absolutely withstands anything. It's the best built tie I've ever had. It's a Robert Talbot from Nordstrom's. Yeah. No, this is one of the ones from the guy who handed me a bag full of ties because it's the same guy I'm talking about who bought the Porsche. I'm not ducking anything. Oh no, everything will be above board, but there's nothing to talk about. I would rather you not mention the fact that I went to 2 years at UCLA. Yeah, don't even bring it up. Pretend like I never went on to college, okay? Thanks. I have no respect for academics whatsoever. I'm seeing failure across the board in both political and economic senses. Our nation is completely dropping the ball in every area. We've got academic Marxists camping out in the Obama-Clinton administration. We got people that absolutely have no clue as to how the real world works. People like Ben Bernanke, who got a PhD at Princeton. Remember Ben Bernanke? Before Janet Yellen? Yeah, a PhD. And he didn't even have a clue as to how to trigger growth in the economy. He studied the New Deal. And he had no idea how to translate into actual jobs here in America. Now, Barack Obama, as you know, was asked in 2010, do you think the government is responsible for creating jobs? And he absolutely had no teleprompter out. He didn't know what to say. He didn't even understand the policies of Ben Bernanke. No, I'm not controlled opposition. I would be in the mainstream media if I was controlled opposition. I'd be getting support like Alex Jones all over the internet. But there's going to be a time when I break into the mainstream media, I assure you. But believe me, this is the deal. I have shown you 7 years of total censorship. I've made it very clear that I'm outside of the loop. I don't get funding from special people and special secret society funding. I'm not a member of those groups, and I never will join those groups. I'm what is called an iconoclast. It's beyond a maverick, okay? It's a person who will not join groups. I'm not a big group joiner. And because of that, and because of my non-materialistic nature, I'm the perfect guy for the presidency. I'm the best guy to deliver fair solutions for this country, as opposed to some greedmonger who's buyable like Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton. And that's my argument. I hope you like it. You know, the show started when you were born, Guest 350. When your mother looked down and said, "What a beautiful baby. What's wrong with him?" Seriously. My goodness. All right, so Let's see what we got here. We got cars. This Polish investigator, Podniesinski, shows a radiation reading of 6.7 microsieverns per hour. That's pretty high. But he was there endangering himself. A chained up motorcycle is slowly absorbed into the field, sucking the motorcycle in. Have I ever shot a gun? I'm a trained sharpshooter. I don't brag about it, but I can shoot a gun. These contaminated televisions were collected and piled up as part of the cleaning effort. They've done a lot of work cleaning things up. No, I have no relationship to Trump whatsoever. My family line, the Sponheim family line, has no connection to the Drumpf line. Donald Trump's family was originally named Drumpf, in case you didn't know. His grandfather was so ashamed of his German heritage that he changed his name. This is not a wig, this is my real hair. I bathe daily. I just change the water in my beautiful swim spa, and I go out and take a swim every day, sometimes twice a day. Yeah, I'm feeling really good. I couldn't be in a better place for the 2016 election. Well, the only reason why you think I sound like him is because he steals 10 of my ideas and begins to literally try to take over the Republican Party, and then here we are today. Many people are attracted to me, guess 679, and I noticed that one of the characteristics about homosexuals is they always want to convert heterosexuals. So I noticed that this is a phenomenon. Because I'm a heterosexual, I get this "are you gay" thing all the time. It's bizarre. I find it very offensive, actually. Now that's offensive. We're going to purge and mute that. I have heard of the Cain, of Cain and Clinton, as opposed to Cain and Abel. Yeah, I mean, what's the going on in the Democratic focus group? Why didn't they actually test the name Cain against the viewers? And how come the Democratic Party is asked for 700 crisis actors? Did you hear about that? Yeah, check this out. Actors needed. The convention in Philadelphia. I'm not kidding. I'm going to give you the link. It's an archive link, so it wasn't lost, but they were soliciting for new people in Philadelphia. Apparently some of the people were going booing, and they were Bernie Sanders people. They had to get them out of there. I don't know, I'm just guessing, but with all the corruption in the Democratic Party, you got to wonder. Looking for 700 people to utilize as actors during the national convention. You'll be paid $50 each night for the remainder of the convention. You'll be required to cheer at all times and will be asked to dress properly and possibly wear some promotional material. We currently have a number of empty seats that will need to be filled, as we currently removing a number of people and need to refill their seats for the remainder of the conference. Now, this is a true posting, which I don't know if it is completely. That's pretty, yeah, they walked out. I don't blame them, man. And you know, the mainstream media didn't tell anybody, Scissor Fight. Nobody knew this. I didn't hear about it in the news. We don't want to hurt anybody who's homosexual. And we especially, unlike Trump, we don't want to ID Muslims or set up deportation forces. I kissed Sarah once on screen. It was a video we took of our last vacation 5 years ago, where we actually were sitting on top of Niagara Falls, and it's a beautiful kiss. And we played it for a nanosecond on our show, accidentally. I have not opened the video up to show you how beautiful that kiss was, but it was epic. So it may go in our compilation video someday. All right, so you cannot threaten people, especially future presidents. And I want you to know that the person doing that will, in fact, be serving 25 years in prison at Supermax. So you may want to, move your seat at the office or at the coffee shop that you're broadcasting from right now, because we see you. Not me, not myself, but the NSA does. The burn. Bernie's hot mic proves he was never a real candidate. This is interesting. Wow. Let me just take a look at this very interesting link from Truth Stream Media.
You had Jane Sanders, Bernie's wife, walk up to the podium and say something to him that was caught on the hot mic. Check this out. They don't know your name is being put in nomination. That's the concern. See, they've tried to push the idea that Hillary is the presumptive nominee for weeks now,
Wow.
and Bernie has jumped right along onto that bus. Even at this moment, when he's up there addressing all of these supporters who have believed in him, he's not telling them that his name will be on the nomination. He's still going to be, it's not going to just be a piece of paper with a box on it that says Hillary Clinton, check here. That's not actually what's going on. He knows it, and he's standing up there telling them to vote for Hillary and not telling anyone anything. He's not addressing WikiLeaks, and he's not telling them that his name is going to be put in nomination. This, to me, is blatant, obvious proof of his complicity in this whole thing since the beginning. I mean, Hillary made sure to get all possible real competition out of the way a long time ago.
Wow, so true, yeah. It seems totally rigged. The DNC's been rigged. I've been telling people that I left the Democratic Party 8 years ago because of the disaster of a party that it is. It is so corrupt, and it's corrupt at a local level. It is totally rigged. I agree. Well, Hillary is here. I'm glad you came in. Thanks for coming in, Hillary. You know, I'm not going to equivocate here. I'm going to be very clear. I think that Hillary is a representative of a legacy of corruption. I think the Clinton administration, when you look back on it, is so filled with cover-ups that it's almost reached epic proportions. In fact, if you go look up the Google search term Clinton death count, you'll see an amazing couple of articles that just reveal completely how many witnesses who would have indicted Bill Clinton many years ago never made it to trial. All right. So that being the case, I mean, I can cite a couple names. One in particular, James McDougal. He would have testified a day before he died of a heart attack. He would have testified against Bill Clinton in the Ken Starr investigation. Would have been a slam dunk. It would have been the end of Bill Clinton and the legacy of the Clintons. What recently came out was a Clinton Cash movie. And the Clinton Cash movie has been kind of hitting the media by storm. The blogosphere is alive with it. We play it in the evenings sometimes, but it's the second time we played it. We probably won't play it tonight. We are convinced that that is the most excellent record of the African dealings and the Haitian dealings that the Clinton Initiative, Global Initiative, put together, which led to paybacks and incredibly high speaking fees for the Clintons. They've been profiting from all their connections in Washington. And now the IRS is looking at the Clinton Initiative as being a not really a good example of a nonprofit organization, and then possibly punishing them with civil penalties. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, Jim Comey, the FBI director, dropped the ball on investigating Benghazi and all the emails. I mean, our government is literally covering everything up. Now, the number of viewers in here is not registering Guest 398 because there's so many. We've got millions of viewers around the world watching us on bumped channels from UHF channels, and I appreciate you guys around the globe for doing that. South Korea, there's people in Japan that are taking the signal off the internet and bumping it. So that's one of the reasons why we're getting through to so many people against the goal of the elitists, which is to shut us down. Now, somebody may have gotten to Vaughn and said, hey, you can't let these people grow too fast. We got 3 months to the election, and the last thing we want is for people to learn how to spell David Sponheim on the ballot.
Sponheim.
Right. And Sarah's here.
Anaheim.
It does. I don't have a wig. This is my hair. I wash it every day. I know. Well, that's the deception. You're looking at censorship here. And a lot of people come in here, and by the way, this is Sarah. Sarah is my choice for vice president in this upcoming election. Take this job and shove it. Yeah, 11 viewers. Yeah, I know. So you can see it's blatant censorship happening here, Sarah. People are seeing, well, what's the viewer count? How come it's so altered? How come you're always seemingly, getting people fly in here? A lot of people have a hard time getting in. They have to hit the refresh button numerous times. So if you'd like to open up a YouTube page, we can give them an alternative chat room we can get to.
Okay.
Sarah and I had a really, really good cooking show the first hour of our Thursdays, our always cooking shows. And I got to tell you, this is an amazing event that people like to see. They love to see how frugal Sarah and I are. Today we made a incredible lasagna dinner, Sarah's idea. And it was an amazing experience because I bought all the ingredients for under $5. Now I'm telling people it's $10 for 10 meals, but we did it for 5 because we shop around. We're really, really careful with our purchasing power. No, I'm not fat. I'm actually at 230 pounds and 6'4", and I believe that I'm carrying the right amount of weight. My body's telling me, David, you need to store up for a potential famine, possible drought coming due to the devastation in California. So I'm really trying to carry about the right amount of weight. I'm really trying to carry about 10 extra pounds. I really could be 220. I admit to that. But I'm really trying to carry about 10 extra pounds just to be completely free of any danger of going without food for a few weeks. So I'm not in any way worried about it. But thank you for caring. I work out 3 times a day. It's just what I do. Cardiovascular is important, but you got to understand, if you're not prepared for the future and you're running really lean, you may not have enough to make it through the next day. Hang on, I can do this here. We're going to go ahead and turn guest chat off for just a second. And clear it. Charles Foster Kane's 50 years old, and he's not worried.
But you can always go and try to chat at YouTube.
And Scissor Fight has a viewer count. Let's see what he sees. All right, folks, check it out. This is the proof you were looking for. Check this out. We are being seen by 637,000 people right now on the Vaughn Network, and that's not including the UHF channels around the globe.
I don't know if that's...
Are you beginning to see what the picture here is? The censorship on our channel has been so severe. Yeah, thank you for that, Scissor Fight. I have no way of knowing on my end. David, what will I haven't decided what NGP will be under my vision, but thank you for asking. The viewer count is on the left, yes, of that picture. Hang on a second. Yeah, it's unlikely I'm going to be using NGP, but thank you anyway. Their affiliation with the Democratic Party is well known, and there's no way I would in any way contaminate this incredibly beautiful grassroots effort by introducing corruption from the Democratic Party. I'm not saying NGP is corrupt in any way, but I just don't want to take chances.
Saying this is nothing. That's how many...
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I misread it. Thank you. Okay, yeah. So that's a total viewer count. Yeah, the viewer count isn't showing at all, folks. There you go. Okay, thank you. Thanks for clarifying that. See, we're learning all along. I don't keep track of the metrics on this site, and we've known that the viewer count's been shut down for a couple days now. Yeah, we realized that when the numbers got too high, I did have people reporting to me that they saw 89,000 one day.
Nice.
It's probably way above 630,000. Yeah, I agree. Explorist has some interesting information from his friend who's working on the international reach out effort to get our third party talked about in the world. And that's a really growing factor. You know, we're kind of the reverse of the Beatles. They became famous over in the US and then later in Britain. Well, in a way we're doing the opposite. We're getting famous overseas and then we're going to become famous here eventually. My goal isn't to become famous, my goal is to fix the country. There's a lot of things broken with it. We're in a very bad situation. If we look at the immediate problem, I'd say water, fresh water. Our most powerful state is becoming dehydrated. Your cousin who lives in Japan is checking the metrics. Thanks, Explorist.
Hey, Walter. Very good.
Okay. Offering an olive branch of peace. Interesting. Well, we'll have to talk to you by phone someday, Mr. Trump. Our number is 707-YOUR-ATP. YOUR-ATP, if you want to reach me. That's good. Okay, you're not Candy Rain, man, dog. We haven't seen Candy Rain in a while. She's probably doing her thing on the internet. But when you look at the water problem and you ask, well, what kind of technology would get America a lot of water? We came up with the ocean pipeline, which we came up with in 2005 as our solution. Sarah and I were driving across country, and we realized that the ocean pipeline could very well provide plenty of water for the nation along our coastlines. And we put it on paper, and we trademarked a few names here in Washington in 2005. We were actually thinking of making water from our pipeline at the time. But each module is only 7 foot by 11, can stack on large carriers, 18-wheelers or railroad cars, and can move 200 miles of track in one railroad. I can move 200 miles of track to a location and set it all up. Within 6 months, we'll have 200,000 gallons of fresh water coming out of that 200-mile track. And that's a bare minimum. Maybe even 1 million gallons coming out of that 200-mile track, depending on how we work this. Because if we integrate modern technology like graphene into the mix, we can actually filter the salt out of the water, which gives it a tremendous amount of desalination capability. We could probably get 10 gallons of water out of each unit. Right now in our test module, we got 3 gallons of water, which is a good start, but we really do need 10 gallons of water to make it worthwhile. Pure water, yeah, absolutely pure, nothing in it. Okay, Lot Lizard made a very interesting statement. He said that this is very important. Mark Vaughn is employed by the NSA. Get off of this site as soon as you can. I've been visited by spooks because of this site. This is my last post. Can you believe that? Wow. That's shocking. Well, it's good that we've got blogtv.ca coming up shortly, and we are broadcasting on Battlecam. So if you guys ever have a problem reaching us, just go to americasthirdparty.com and you'll see our show. So nothing to worry about there, Lot Lizard. Thanks. Well, thank you, Explorist, for that concern. And Lot Lizard, this is simply a question mark in my mind, because I can't confirm any of this information. You know that. This is pretty funny. Somebody put out a picture that said the Democratic organization is so blatantly corrupt. I bet the confetti is made of missing ballots. That is hilarious. Wow. Yeah, we've seen the corruption. And if you guys have looked at the recent emails from the DNC, you know that this is a telltale sign of corruption. Weird statements keeping Bernie out of the race. You Bernie supporters, welcome. I'm glad you're thinking about writing my name in. This is a big chance for all of us to actually break out of the two-party system. 2016's never looked better for a third party. We've never had a better time, except maybe the 1930s, when there was a lot of worker activity, but it was absorbed by FDR, and the Democrats sucked it in. I don't think Clinton has what it takes to suck in those Bernie votes, and I'm open to appeasing you. We've already worked on a really good plan for America called hybrid capitalism, and some people accuse us of being socialists, but we're not. We don't want to tax the working man to pay for the non-working man. So we have all these brand new ideas that are better than anything Bernie could have come up with. And if you want to download our book, go to americasthirdparty.com and click on the Kindle button. It's 99 cents if you want to read it. $14.99 to order. Okay, I'm going to step out. Sarah's going to talk to you guys. I'm going to move the Ocean Pipeline Project over here, and you guys don't have to look at the other things in the picture. Yeah, just Sarah.
Good, you'll get rid of all the texts. Good, thank you.
Everything's getting ruined. All right, thank you.
All right, welcome. David's probably going to go make a salad to go with the lasagna or something like that. I don't know. It's just me. My shirt was a lot greener in the other room, but it goes to this gray with the green screen thing. Something like that. But I'm glad to be here with all of you. That's what's important to me. And, all right. Not today, Dirt. Lou, I'm sorry. I'm supporting Sponheim. Yeah, probably if he's elected, Katrina. I think you're right. No, I have no vials of any kind of blood at all. I don't do that. Goes to GB person. All right. Fantastic. I think I'll look into what's going on in the news, and I will take any questions that you guys have for the future of our country. David is going to be voting for himself. David Sponheim for president. That's who he will vote for. And we suggest you do the same. That's why David's doing this campaign. It looks like that, if you say so, Ghost. Alright. There's a lot going on. Oh, well, no, you can definitely get David on the ballot. David has not refused to have you help him get him on the ballot. You can definitely do that. No, Explorers, I cannot bounce up and down on my chair a little bit. Yes, Brexit crashed the UK's domestic stocks, but global stocks held. Global as in the FTSE 100 companies. Trump seems to be making much scarier noises. That's true. Yeah, well, David does not like Mr. Trump. David wants to be president, so that's why he doesn't have anything positive to say about other candidates that are running for president. St. Louis? Okay. It all depends, Lou, what kind of time frame. It can be as soon as this year, as long as people get on board, which would be good. I do think that if we, Walter, when you say about withdrawing from the World Trade Organization, I think that we need to have trade with other people in the world, but I do also think that we need to reconsider having the UN having their headquarters in New York. You're a public figure, so Mr. Trump, that a totally different mark is held if you want to say someone is slandering you. Mr. Trump has and any public figure has a different standard that they have to have. I think you're right, Sheriff Woody. How do you say trust me? How do you know? Are you NSA as well? All right. Yeah, classified. That's what I thought. Sheriff Woody, classified. Sure, I can mute Don. Don, if you post another weather one, then you will be muted. Well, you can give David a personal phone call to actually go over those negotiations if you think that if you're really Mr. Trump. 707 YOURATB. That's the phone number to call. America's Third Party at gmail.com. Really easy. Easy to do. You have to understand the situation for the US and the UK is very different. Yes. Oh, I see. You have to understand the whole anti-globalist theme in the USA. Probably the big thing with the USA is that we are really independent people. We I would say Americans in general pride themselves on being individuals. So. East is not easy, but David will be very popular there, you think? I think David could be popular everywhere. Thank you very much, Don. I get you. You're here, and that's fine. People can post their own weather things if they want. You have not called David multiple times. Incorrect. Incorrect. No, I don't want to move it to... Are you saying move it to Canada? That's a possibility, but move it out of the United States. You can post that yourself, but Woody, what new thing did I learn today? I learned I can make lasagna with cream cheese. No, I haven't heard any of you call. I bet you are the number one weather person. Yes, that's true. 300 million in the continent have a better shot at independence. And Brexiters hope that the UK will have closer ties with the USA, Canada, Australia if you leave the EU. Doesn't the UK already have pretty close ties with Canada and Australia? I mean, I know that, here in America we had the big Revolutionary War, but I thought independence was a little bit easier for Canada and Australia, so they still have some kind of alliance to the UK. David is making a salad, is what he is doing. Yes, the EU. Oh, since joining the EU, the relationship changed. I could see that. I don't think that's true, Dirk. Being married and having 3 kids doesn't really change chances. And in fact, I would say that it actually puts people. David would say that it could put his children at risk when he's running for president. No, I don't want the UN to move to California. I want the UN to move out of our country. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I could see people wanting to leave for Canada and Australia, leave to from the UK rather than going to the UK. The American people can call me anything they want. They can call me Sarah. That's fine. Yeah. No, thank you. Vote for Sponheim. That's what we should always do, is vote for Sponheim. Yes, I bet Bakersfield, California is really crazy. I would not want to be in Bakersfield. Yeah, it does seem that there was some issues after World War II. I think that with World War II, the UK was very badly bombed by Germany, and the US survived World War II a lot easier, I would say. All right. Wow. All right. We are just attending here. We're not. This is America's third party convention. Yes, that's true. Yeah. So the U.S. bailout came after World War II. So there's this whole talk, Walter, that with some conspiracy theorists that the U.S. is still somehow in debt to the U.K., which I don't believe that the U.S. is in debt to the U.K. I thought I did Explorist. Did I not? All right. West Covina. Hot 2. I don't hate anyone. All right. Yeah, I think today's reality is the best compromise that we have. All right. There was a hostage situation at the Cook County Jail, but it has been resolved. Oh, David could talk about this. So there was a man that was accused of killing Washington intern Chandra Levy, but the charges against him have been dropped. Interesting. Your lip is bleeding? I'm sorry. Don't bite it. So one of the things that I would do to improve life for children is expand a breakfast program in the summer months, breakfast and lunch program for children, and then also we'll make sure that we have the Department of Education provides curriculum for schools so that more the school districts can save money on curriculum and possibly hire more teachers. We want the Department of Education to look into open resources whenever possible, but then also they can create curriculum because that's a huge cost for school districts. Yes, I do think that we will make it to the election as far as the issues with Russia goes. Thankfully Obama can only serve 2 terms. I think that Obama has done a poor job with relations with Vladimir Putin. I think David Sponheim would have much better relations with Vladimir Putin. In the first 100 days in office, we will start with our ocean pipeline system. We'll get our homestead renewal plan up and running. And we'll work on our mobile medical units. We'll get all of those three projects up and running full time. What is our view on international agreements in the agricultural branch? I think that food grown around the world is really amazing, and that's why we have such a great society, because we can import food from around the world. However, I believe that we should move toward a non-GMO country, and I think that we should only import non-GMO products. Okay. So schools would save by not needing to purchase curriculum. Then they can use that money to purchase technology. Well, we believe that water will create food, which will create prosperity and will lead to peace. And that's how we will address the terror issues. Is we will definitely work with other countries to address ISIS. However, we are going to also create an ocean pipeline system so that we can create fresh, clean drinking water here in the United States, and we can export that technology to other countries as well. Yes, David will work on the airplane blimp. I'm not sure if that will be done in the first 180 days, but David will definitely be working on that. Walter says we're all in debt to each other and to the future because of the nature of fiat currency, but that's okay so long as it's invested well instead of property bubbles. He doesn't mind a little protectionism on food, free trade and things where you can always say no, but with food, it's life or death control. I do think that I think that when we talk about agriculture and food, we also need to build up a reserve of food here in the United States, especially a grain reserve. The medical units can travel even with our broken infrastructure. We will be working on our infrastructure as well within the first 180 days. We're going to protect people in our country. Well, 287, that's definitely one of the things that we can look at too, as far as the oldest profession in the world, legalizing that in the United States. All right. David will be a very serious president. He believes strongly in this country and believes in helping this country. So he has a lot of serious plans and programs he'd like to see implemented. That's a possibility, 287. All right. Elevate your feet if your feet are swollen. Okay. Fantastic. All right. This DNC is on now, and you can. I'm not watching it, but you can. I haven't seen Step Brothers, so I don't know. I've seen Anchorman, but I haven't seen Step Brothers. Well, I don't think Putin trusts Obama at all. I don't think he trusts him at all. I think that he'll hold out hope that perhaps the next president will be able to negotiate peace or work with on the world stage to eliminate terror around the world. 609, you can call me whatever you want. It's just a name. All right, thank you, Dirk. All right, yes, well, it's fine if there's a little noise going on in the background. I don't mind that at all. I think it's perfectly fine. Okay, I'm gonna go here. All right. So Russia and Syria have said they're opening humanitarian corridors out of besieged rebel-held areas in the northern Syrian city of Aleppo. You can call me whatever you'd like, 575. Well, it's not a legal term, 609. Oh, you want to see the lasagna on the plate in just a few minutes. All right, you might mind the noise, but I don't, so I'm running the show and I'll just continue to be that way. There's no noise anyway. No, I think Putin will still work on Syria. I think there could definitely be issues with Syria because both Obama and Clinton want Assad out of power. I personally think that we should leave Syria to their own devices and not, I think that we should never have trained the rebel troops, but at this point, I think that we have to address ISIS, but that's it. Yes, I do believe Putin will believe that Obama will not start a war. Wow, where was that sun star? That's sad. Yes. It's fine. So, and the big issue with Syria and ISIS is that now that's created a big, huge refugee and immigrant issue in the EU, and UK, and what is going to be spreading to other parts of the world. I think it is important that we work toward peace, and I think that we can work with many different countries working on peace in the Middle East. All right. I did not get a lottery ticket tonight, so hopefully that's more of a chance that you might win. Thank you. $478 million. I'm hoping it's you, Dirk. That would be very good. Okay. Lottery martyr? No, I don't think so. 99 degrees over there. Wow. And 81 in Leavenworth and 85 in Death Valley. Wow. Oh, you forgot to buy a ticket too? Ah. Yes. I agree, Lone Patriot, and I think that's not a good move. And there's no lotto in California on Thursdays? Okay. All right. Oh, goodness, Monkey King. That made me laugh. All right.
All right, I'm going to take I'll come in now. I'm going to not serve the lasagna. I'm going to let you pull it out of the oven. I left it in the oven to heat up.
Okay. You turned the oven off?
Yes, I turned the oven off, and I made salads for all of us.
Okay.
And for us. Thank you.
Salads
for everybody.
Bring it in and show people.
If you want, you can plate up mine and just put it on the side with a bowl over it and plate up yourself and everything else. So okay. It's in there ready to go. I have a salad for myself in the back there with a plate on it.
All right, sounds good.
Made a nice green salad with cucumbers, romaine lettuce, vine ripened tomatoes. and Walla Walla onion. Yeah. The sweet onion. We get sweet onions around here for 99 cents a pound, so it's great to have that. Yes, Connie retracted any statements that she may have said to me a long time ago or said about me. Yes, my sister is now a world traveler. She's traveling, I think she's in Switzerland right now. I'm not sure. Pretty sure. Actually, I got a letter from her. So she goes from area to area because she just loves visiting the world. She'd be a nice ambassador to send around, just a ambassador of goodwill. Onions are easy. You just get a sharp knife and don't look at the onion when you're doing it, because then your eyes burn. So guest chat's on. You guys are behaving fairly nicely. Thank you. You know, my sister and I traveled together in 1969. That's and then again in 73, I believe. Those are the only 2 times we ever traveled together. You're in love with my sister? Wow. Yeah, really. If you can't cut an onion, you don't deserve to eat. Good point. Yes, 934. The other remarkable pro-Russia thing that Donald just said, let's see what this says. This is unbelievable. He's pro-Russia, you know. Donald Trump is very bad at marking or making the case that he's not Russia's favorite candidate in the 2016 U.S. election. It's not just the fact that he publicly called for Russia to hack into and obtain the emails Hillary Clinton deleted from her private email. There's a story here. This is from the Washington Post. Let's see what it says. No, Trump actually said something else at his bizarre fact challenge news conference.
Really quick.
Oh yeah, we got a reveal here, folks. Hang on, let me move out of your way. Here's the lasagna. Ta-da! Wow, that is gorgeous. I can't wait to dig in. I did upload it, by the way. It's going to be available in about 10 minutes at this location. Well done, yeah. Perfect timing. There you go. Check it out. Should be there in about 5 minutes. It looks good and incredible. You know, to pull that off for $1 a meal, it's really good. All right. It's not just the fact that he publicly called for Russia to hack into and obtain emails Hillary Clinton deleted from her private email server. No, Trump actually said something else at his bizarre fact challenge news conference Wednesday that could bring a smile to Russian President Putin's face. Here's the exchange via transcript. Question: I would like to know if you became president, will you recognize inaudible Crimea as Russian territory, and also if the U.S. would lift sanctions that are inaudible? Trump says, we'll be looking at that. Yeah, we'll be looking. To Trump, we'll be looking at that is his go-to throwaway answer when he asks about something he hasn't thought about. As our own Philip Bump so aptly cataloged earlier this month, he does this a lot. We'll be looking at that. Yeah, we'll be looking at that. But recognizing Crimea as a Russian territory is not something that basically anybody inside the American foreign policy mainstream is looking at. And were Trump to actually consider it, you can bet it would make Russia very happy indeed. It's funny, I've actually talked about ceding Crimea, but that's interesting. Interesting story. I don't really have an interest in Crimea. I don't see why we would continually create artificial barriers with Putin. But ironically, Trump didn't watch that episode that I did talk about this. I didn't know that. Yeah. Well, you know, I personally don't have a problem with Russia doing what they did. We could have responded within seconds to the initial stages of Crimea. It would have been a face-off. It would have been a military engagement. So we had a choice. Did we want to pursue a military encounter with a global world power, or did we want to back off? And we backed off. So I don't see any problem ceding territory if indeed we call that our territory or NATO's territory. I don't think they do. But in any event, the fact that Trump turned around and said, well, I'm looking into that, we'll be looking at that, it truly is his go-to statement whenever he wants to defer and he doesn't know what the answer is. Well, if Putin wants to work with Trump, he probably has a lot of good friends that stay at the Trump Plaza. As you know, Putin has been the liaison between the underworld in Russia and the Politburo, or former Politburo. His father was the taste tester, the guy who detected poison for Joseph Stalin. Vladimir Putin's father was the taster, the guy who went out and tested food for Joseph Stalin. So he has a long stake and commitment to the Politburo, and he also has connections with the underworld crime figures, which often stay at the Trump Hotel. So I think you are beginning to understand the picture here. Lots of Russian immigrants who happen to be legitimate businessmen in New York and New Jersey happen to stay at the hotel, and I think you're beginning to understand the connection to Putin. Please, it doesn't take a leap of faith to understand this. I don't want to be any more explicit than I've already been. Thank you. Yes, Obama is a lame duck president. I've said that for 8 years. All right, let's do some fun things tonight. We got technology. You want to buy a used car or something online? I mean, what are you looking for? I mean, buy your technology used. Highly recommended. What are you looking for? Something... Well, if you do run into a situation where you buy a car, the technology that came out in 2005 for the OBD2 system, the automatic computer system, that technology is Wi-Fi hackable. So when you get your cars newer than 2005, you are buying a car that does have that Wi-Fi connectivity. Connectivity gives the ability of somebody to track your car or even overtake your car. As in the case of Paul Walker, which I believe that probably was the cause of his accident. That and a couple other people. The famous journalist Michael Hastings, who got the Polk Award for his reveal of General McChrystal's statements about Barack Obama's involvement in Afghanistan. Michael Hastings died in a Mercedes he thought was hacked. So anything prior to 2005, with 2005, some of them had it, some of them didn't. But anything prior to 2005, you're okay. Otherwise, you may want to, I don't know what you can do. I really don't know the answer to that. All right, so let's find a car prior to 2005 on AutoTrader. Use some of the technology at our fingertips. If you've ever purchased anything and you want to save some money in this tough economy, you got to use these websites. Silkwood's car was hacked. Good point, Explorist. Yeah, that's another one. Karen Silkwood, who that movie was written about, the China Syndrome. Harvard Medical School scientists need a female volunteer willing to give birth to a genetically modified Neanderthal. Oh man, talk about lack of control. Seriously? This is almost, the scientific community is running with a massive amount of liberal activity without any restraint whatsoever. No, the Pope will not be invited to the U.S. under my leadership. We're not planning on making amends with the Pope. I believe the Pope has their own agenda, and I don't want them contaminating the current politics of America, whenever that is. I saw it happen recently, and it was disgusting. It's like he has a Marxist agenda. He's coming over here with a Marxist agenda, the depopulation agenda of all things. I mean, for the Pope to be urging restraint is bizarre. And obviously every other pope has always asked people to have as many kids and go forth and propagate. This guy is the opposite. Now, I don't personally think there's a population problem. You may think I'm some sort of a nutcase for saying that. I don't think population is the problem. I think fresh water is. That's why we have the Ocean Pipeline Project here. We talk about it every night. So yeah, the Pope really wouldn't fit my plan. I want to see more people go forth and procreate. And I do believe there is a hell, too, which is interesting to see a pope declined to say that there's a hell. He actually has said openly that there is no hell. I mean, has the Catholic Church completely lost track of their own parish, their own people? I mean, what's going on? I've never seen such a complete detachment from the actual Catholics. I was raised Catholic. So it hurts me to see the world have two popes right now on this earth. When you think about it, it undermines the very doctrine of the Catholic Church. But let's not digress about religion. All right, Harvard Medical School scientists need a female volunteer willing to give birth to a genetically modified Neanderthal. I can't believe I'm reading this. Technology gone wacko. Remember a few years ago, scientists in Europe discovered a way to weaponize dangerous viruses and vaccinate people with weaponized viruses. They were actually going to publish the method of how to do that in one of the scientific journals before the British Royal Intelligence stepped in. MI6 stepped in and said, whoa, wait a second, you can't do that. You can't spread that statement. It would simply be an incredible risk to a global terrorism. And they actually did the right thing. They told these scientists, stop it. You can't do that. So yeah, we've got to keep science in check. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Are some of you suffering from a lack of cowbell? So a lot of people have had lack of cowbell on their mind. Let me bring that in. We have the HD cowbell for you, for all of you who are suffering from lack of cowbell. Here we go. Yeah, the girl's going to give birth to a Neanderthal. Hopefully this will make you feel calmer. I understand the cowbell has been very soothing for some of our viewers. Isn't that nice? The cowbell and a little relaxation goes a long way. I love it. Now, how are we going to pull more votes away from Hillary and Donald? We definitely want the Bernie Sanders voters because we have a really good program that is rock solid, our hybrid capitalism. If you guys want to read it, it's 99 cents on our website and the store. Yeah, pretty cool. And we want to actually trigger growth in the economy by having the government create things. Okay. I'm going to help you right now by finding a vehicle that is really low cost. We're going to look up a vehicle called a Honda, or not a Honda, it's a Nissan. Right. I got to see this. I saw these Nissan Leafs recently at an electric energy symposium here in Washington. And I was going to look up what a Leaf costs right now for, say, a 2013 Leaf. Regardless of when, it was made. Let's just see what we've got. There we go. Yeah, no, I'm just saying. Okay, remember those Leafs that were available for $60,000? Now they're all electric. Now I'm just saying they're an all-electric vehicle. They're using a lithium-ion battery pack, which has its ups and downs. But in the meantime, they're looking for some Leafs available for less than $13,900. I'm going to try to see how low I can go on a Nissan Leaf. Hey, I'm just saying, Don, I didn't really buy into the all-electric car vision. I actually had a heated argument with a guy from Green Monk in California about 10 years ago. Green Monk is a promotional service for green energy solutions. And I had this heated argument, about 15 people in the room, over the efficacy and purpose of all-electric vehicles. I believe hybrids are the way to go. Look at that. They can't even find a car in my area. It's still searching. They have about a 100-mile range. And then they have this thing where you get range anxiety. Now, the Teslas claimed about have pretty long ranges, a couple 100 miles, but I don't know. You're looking at real battery failure with lithium ion. The flights that were down because of the lithium-ion battery packs in the 877 Dreamliner at Boeing. All those lithium-ion battery packs have corrosion issues, and then they explode. So here's the mindset of the people, the technologists that are out there. They're not willing to pursue an older technology called nickel metal hydride. That patent's owned by... This is unbelievable. It's still searching. Wow. I can't believe it's taking this long. This technology is really antiquated. Elon Musk is now about ready to open up his gigafactory to the public, producing something like electric lithium-ion battery systems is a huge money-making opportunity. But if his idea fails because of the technical aspects of lithium-ion, you can only imagine that $5 billion investment could be a big, huge burst of capital. We'll see if he develops that. He's also developing the Hyperloop technology, which will give us the ability to supposedly get from point A to point B in lightning fast speed, like from LA to San Francisco in an hour, in a super fast, high-speed vacuum tube. That's another cool technology. Boy, talk about bad technology. I'm going to scrub the idea of even looking. End that search. Okay, what do you want to talk about? New York City electric bill spikes 1,000%. Look at this. We just look at this? Just look at it. Oh, you can't see it yet. New York City's electric city price is going to spike 1,000%. You're not going to believe this. Oh, man. I can't believe... I'm walking here. Hold on. I'm doing my impersonation of Ratso Rizzo. Long time ago, there were movies before TV and video and the internet. Remember that, when they actually had movies? The Midnight Cowboy. Yeah, Dustin Hoffman. Yeah, I'm walking here. Okay, here we go. Days of sweltering weather, followed by a thunderstorm warning, caused the price of electricity to spike 1,000% for New York City Monday afternoon. The spot price of electricity was $94 per megawatt at 2:30 p.m. As the heat climbed over 90 degrees, a reading from 3:30 p.m. shortly after a storm warning put the price at $1,042 per megawatt hour. The increase was reported earlier by Bloomberg News. It won't necessarily affect New York's electricity bills, though. The New York ISO, the organization that oversees the state's electric grid, works to keep overall energy prices relatively steady. And spot prices reflect only a small portion of what drives those trends. So yeah, nothing to worry about there, New Yorkers. All right, back to you. Back to you in the studio. Gold is up to a 1337. Silver is at 2021. It's making another comeback. Check that out. And the Dow Jones is at 18,456. Thanks, Ann. All right, I think we've got control over the chat now. Anyone have any questions about how we're going to desalinate water in these 11 by 7 foot or 7 foot by 11? Thank heaven for 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven cartridges or modules. These things are very portable, can go piggyback on top of 18-wheelers. We could put about 200 or 300 of them stacked up. Mass produced at Dow Chemical. We could have polycarbonate structures like this going all around the coastal areas of the country, providing fresh water year-round. And we can also have a kind of a passive desalination system going on, where we can do it in larger areas called swills. Where it's a whole different concept, but you can create massive reservoirs of salt water and desalinate simultaneously. Would you like me to show you how to do this? It's pretty cool. I'd love to. A swill is a technique that I'm developing, which, say for instance, we need a blank slate here. Okay, pretend this is the water, okay? We're going to take the water of the ocean as an example here. And we move the chair, of course. We construct a plastic underlining which goes underneath it, kind of like a dimple, a reverse dimple, or a reverse cone. And we put a large circular area of tubing that we can pipe elsewhere. Now, this is the pure water right here. This is pure water. And what happens is, if you have water underneath, the salt water itself, and you have the sun's rays reflecting down on the swill like this, it heats up that inner chamber. And you can imagine this thing going inside here like that. Not only could we reclaim the water from the rain over a large area, but we can also collect the water that evaporates in this space, like a 2 or 3 foot space up in this area. It goes onto this inner cone, this reverse cone, and goes into this circular area, which then becomes the water reclamation tube. Now, I'm just showing you technology that's never been discussed only once on our show before in 7 years. And I think it's pretty cool that we have this ability. We can also promote all kinds of new technologies that would integrate, like fisheries, shrimperies. We're going to be able to create fresh shrimp in inland areas. We won't have to worry about the pollution in New Orleans. These are all really good ideas. So I'm going to do guest off for a second, and then I'm going to kind of clear the chat because I don't like looking at garbage while I do the show. You'd like a spinach tube? All right. But lots of new technologies are possible. You can use nanotermites. Good idea, Lou. You want to get on the project? We can have you work on the nanotermite division of our seawater pipeline. We got other great ideas. Solar rooftops that could easily be deployed from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Take a look at this. These solar rooftops could easily go on any house in America. Isn't that cool? That means if we can produce these things for $1 a watt or less, you could be trained in 6 weeks to start making some serious cash. Laying the solar panels on top of the rooftops in America. Yeah. Could use them for mobile medical units, yeah. Solar tops, perfect application. Thank you. So Netflix and Chill says, uncensor this man, Mark. Thank you. Well, you got to understand, there's a lot of people like, well, obviously, certain people are upset at Mark. But there's a lot of people who are concerned that Mark has been pressured into this. He may not even be able to say no. It may be one of these, I'm going to make an offer you can't refuse kind of things. You know, I have no idea what's going on with Mark. I don't personally have a problem with him. I don't really have a personal problem with anybody. Ironically, I have an amazing resilience. I don't hold grudges, and I kind of stay forward thinking all the time. So I don't really carry any animosity toward Mark. I just feel it's pathetic that he is kowtowing to pressure to censor us on this network. It really is. Well, it could be an issue, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people who have families. I'm a person who is pretty insulated from that. You know, my family has, most of my family's distant relatives or has died. My sister, of course, she's out there in the field. I worry about her, but what can I do, you know? I don't have children, so I don't have any, worry about kidnappings or threats to my safety. I'm really not going to, worry too much in life because I really think we're pursuing a bigger track that's far more important than petty concern about my personal safety. I wouldn't have given all of my time, like I have over the past 7 or 8 years, to breaking through this entire censorship, this wall of censorship. I have to prove I'm wearing pants. All right, so let's get into some fun stuff. We haven't really had a lot of fun tonight. I really wanted to do more fun things, like play some Hillary songs and enjoy music. The recent thing has been we've been playing Donald and Hillary clips during the week. It kind of makes it, it helps us get through the hours. I don't want to bore you incessantly. it's always good to have something to break it up. So we kind of like to play a few of these songs, like this one.
Misogynists and chauvinists and sexists and 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 misogynists and chauvinists and sexists, misogynists, chauvinists and sexists and misogynists, chauvinists, sexist, misogynist, chauvinist, sexist, misogynist, chauvinist, sexist, misogynist, chauvinist, sexist, misogynist, chauvinists and sexist, sexist, chauvinists and sexist and misogynists and chauvinists and sexist, sexist, chauvinists and sexist and misogynists and chauvinists and sexist, chauvinists and sexists and misogynists and chauvinists and sexists, chauvinists and
That was Place Boing, very cool. Okay, let me show you some of these Porta farm-raised seafood options that are being explored right now. They're able to put these little shrimps in these little containers. Here's a guy doing it right now. And you can actually see how he's raising the shrimp. Farm-raised seafood is really the future. It really is. And when you think about controlled environments, water tested for all kinds of pollutants, providing fresh, farm-raised seafood, that's really the future. And American can be a major producer. We don't have to just rely on Indonesia and the slave trade out there, because we've seen that happen. People have been really abused in Indonesia. A lot of the shrimp you get at the market is coming from slave camps where people have to work 14 hours a day. So these things could be more automated and much more effective. Many people have concerns about farm-raised seafood for good reason. A lot of harm has been done by poorly managed seafood farms. That's why we decided to do something about it. We do farm bettered, fresh or frozen. We know where all our farm-raised seafood comes from and require third-party verification. Look at that. See? Third-party verification. Water quality and dozens of other quality standards. So they're already embracing the third party. Isn't that great? Here we're getting endorsements from places all over the internet and we don't even know it. Yeah, slave camps, people who have to suffer. They're probably sweating on your shrimp that you're eating from the freezer. Shrimp. Welcome. So this guy could actually spearhead the entire shrimp program that I'm talking about, raising shrimp in ocean pipelines. The future of America, everybody. Sexist, misogynist. Yeah, I should contact him. How do we farm seafood better? Our standards for farming finfish and shrimp. Oh, this guy's great. I'm bookmarking this. Yeah, cool. WholeFoodsMarket.com. Oh, it's just Whole Foods. I'm sorry. This is not an endorsement of Whole Foods or any of their affiliates. 31 rolls of undeveloped film by a World War II soldier discovered and restored. Wow. That is huge. Hey, if some of you are on government assistance, it's perfectly fine. We do have our standing offer of $400 a month, as you know, to every U.S. citizen. Sexist, misogynist. I know many of you people are still saying, well, didn't Barack Obama promise us something and we haven't gotten anything? No, he hasn't offered you $400 a month. And none of the candidates are doing this except for me. So if you're expecting another lame duck president like Barack Obama, I'm a guy who actually has original thinking. He doesn't, as evinced by this.
If we fall for, you know, a bunch of
Okay, in deference to somebody who's very upset here, who had to listen to that, I'm sorry. Yeah, that was a good song, but you're right. It is annoying, and I appreciate your concern. Yes. Here we go with 31 rolls of undeveloped film on the wall. 31 rolls of film. 31 rolls of undeveloped film on the wall. Here we check this out. Just look at this. Just look at it. This great post shows some photographs from 31 rolls of undeveloped film from a World War II soldier, as well as a fascinating video interview by the man who discovered and developed them. Well, there he is. In 2014, photographer Levi Betweiser made an amazing discovery in an auction in Ohio. He found 31 rolls of film that had never been developed. Betweiser is the founder of the Rescued Film Project, which aims to find and develop old rolls of film, and the discovery of these rolls is one of the largest finds to date. All the rolls were shot by one unidentified World War II soldier, and roughly half were labeled with the names of places. Sadly, Betweiser doesn't know anything else about the photographer. Here is a little note there. Wow, here's the gallery of 19 selected photos from the project. Whoa, this is World War II, folks. Wow. Amazing. It's going to give you a little slideshow. We can just look at it. Just look at that. Just look at it. Will you just look at it? How is Hillary plagiarizing? Exactly. Bring me up to speed on that. Cholo on roof. Researchers to test controversial DNA-based Zika vaccine on volunteers, despite unknown health effects in humans. Oh, that's a good one. Wow, they're going to test the Zika vaccine on volunteers. Okay, let's go back to the montage of pictures from the 1940s. Well, my parents were in this entire life. They lived the whole life, you know. They talked about the World War II quite a bit with me before they passed on. Oh, yeah, Hillary doesn't have a chance. She's 3 months out, and people are really disliking her. I mean, her approval ratings are not spiking. And what's that story about her brain tumor? Does anybody know? Any links on her brain tumor that people think she has? We do know she has some very strange, odd behavior. Scroll down for video. Okay, I will. Yeah, we're beginning to believe that she may have had a seizure the other day. It's not a trauma? It's not a tumor? Okay, good. I hope she's better. I don't want any bad things to happen to anybody, even if they are, you know, people that could have committed genocidal acts. I'm not saying they did. I'm just saying they could have, you know. There is technology that can create earthquakes, you know. Should we talk about that tonight, or is that off limits for you guys? Is that too conspiracy theory-ish? Tectonic activity can be artificially created. Environmental stress factors have been created using changes in fluxes in the ionosphere. I would rather show you the future of mankind. I talked to a guy who is amazing. His name is Jacques Fresco, and he is now 100 years old. I sent him a birthday card this past few months ago. And in March, he turned 100 years old. And this is his little pet project. He's a futurist who really believes in the advancement of mankind utilizing all of its resources without all these monetary stopgaps preventing us from distributing all the resources that man can develop. You see, capitalism has its drawbacks. It tends to create rich people that don't care about humanity. But this guy is great. Jacques Fresco, truly one of the greatest futurists of our time. Still alive.
What the Venus Project proposes is an entirely different system that's updated to present-day knowledge.
We've never given scientists the problem of how do you design a society which would eliminate boring and monotonous jobs, that would eliminate accidents in transportation, that would enable people to have a high standard of living, that would eliminate poisons in our food, that would give us other sources of energy that are clean and efficient.
When we understand that it is technology devised by human ingenuity which frees humanity and increases our quality of life, we then realize that the most important focus we can have is on the intelligent management of the Earth's resources.
If you want a world without war, without hatred, with reduced crime, considerably reduced crime, then you must declare all of the Earth's resources as the common heritage of all the world's people. Anything less than that will be a repetition of the same cycle of problems.
But there's no end to the possibilities, which I think haven't even begun yet. The civilized world hasn't even begun to get off the ground. The jobs that will be accomplished in the future, the marvels, the technology to come is unbelievable. And it's about high time we get off our self-centered, self-seeking, self-advantageous designs and get on with the social job that has to be done, namely the reclamation of the environment and human beings as well. So we welcome everybody's participation.
Jacques Fresco, yeah, he is still promoting his Venus project down in Venus, Florida. Amazing guy. I talked to him on my radio broadcast. It's in our radio broadcast archives. If you want to get to it, you'd have to go to, well, I can pull up a link for you. It won't take me but a second. Here's the direct link to my 2.5-hour interview with him. All right, Jacques Fresco. That's right. All right, so one of the people over in YouTube chat, Walter, says, the Venus Project requires worldwide altruism, which, as you can see from ISIS, Trump, etc., is rather hard to achieve. I totally agree. It's a huge problem with the capitalist system we have, that it creates huge problems, like rich people that won't in any way think in terms of distribution and fairness. Even the idea of distribution of wealth is almost a bad word to almost everybody on the right wing of the political spectrum, especially people who are fiscal conservatives, who don't want to spend money. But everyone knows you need to spend money to make money, and really the free $400 per month per U.S. adult is no worse than ARRA in terms of overall cost. In fact, it's a lot better. We're going to be eliminating welfare and food stamps in the process. It strikes the slate clean and gives U.S. adults $400 per month to get by. This is our baseline plus approach that we write about in our book, A Hybrid Capitalism. There it is. And that's available in our store on our website, americasthirdparty.com. All right, Sharia law. This gallery of 1940s pictures is really amazing. It kind of takes you back to a different time. Hey, you know, he really is. He's never really come clean about whether he's a communist or socialist. He's never, ever said he was. So I really don't think Jacques Fresco is a socialist or communist. I think what he is he's a humanist. at the very least. And I think he's trying to actually get some sort of a solution to the mankind's problems. I think he's thinking about the big picture. But how to achieve it, I asked him in the interview, how do you achieve that? He didn't know. There is no political channel for him to do that. Katerina says, Walter, do you like the idea of a thought experiment? Walter says, for me, reality is an unwelcome distraction from my preferred environment, the thought experiment. You guys are having a very intellectual conversation over there on YouTube. That's amazing. And I guess the live stream of that is right here. So for more chat options, folks, you have this chat network that we opened up on Google. It's kind of like a hangout. It's a YouTube chat room. Okay. I don't want to drain the working man's capital to finance socialist concepts or communist concepts. I'm not a communist. I'm not a socialist. I would rather come up with creative solutions to generate revenue for the government as opposed to financing all operations like the Democrats do on borrowed tax dollars. That's been the death knell of our nation's economy right now. And the Democrats are taking every state down with them. Every democratically dominated state is way over budget, deep in the red right now. It shows something there, Bengalitis. Okay, let's say you rent a 2-room duplex is $800. That's 4 plus 4. Mate, you now have no money for food. I got that. Yeah, I do. You're not going to be able to survive comfortably on $400 a month. Did I tell you this was going to be easy? I never told you it would be this hard, though, did I? The reality is, it's just a starting point. We will also have tent cities developed so that people will be able to get a free tent assigned to them. If they steal it, that's on them. Their name won't be valid for another tent. We won't give out endless amounts of tents. But we want to make sure everybody has a roof over their head of some kind. And we will have robust mobile units that will actually help. I wonder what that is. Some sort of a picture. Yeah. It'll actually provide solutions for America's immediate washing and cleaning needs in tent cities. Now, there's tent cities in every state now. All over the country, there's tent cities. And this is a serious problem that's never been addressed by Barack Obama. I'm going to take it head on. I'm not pushing you to move to YouTube. I'm just saying there's other chat options. That's all I'm saying. It's not like you have to go over there. No, the real reason, yeah, the fact is you would probably be able to live comfortably in a tent for $400 a month. Unless we have housing available with vouchers, like Section 8 vouchers, and you're a U.S. citizen, you might as well live in a tent. Because at this point, we don't have enough to go around. So we have to make sure that the people that are in tent cities are being taken care of and getting a necessary supply of basics. Okay, that means that every one of these units, and here's a mobile medical unit, but it could be very similar to one of the tent city mobile units that has a washer and dryer, a few of them in the back. Additionally, we can actually provide shower facilities using recycled water. That's something, as well as the washer and dryer system. A huge recycled water system inside. That could be out of the back there, like a large container that's accessible and drainable. And the side units could actually have mailboxes. We could have mailboxes for the homeless right along the side, like a grid of these things. Lots of mailboxes, like perhaps 500 of them in each unit. USPS mailboxes, so you guys can actually vote, people that are homeless. We'll have the ability of washer and dryers on the other side, showers on the other side. Wi-Fi charging units running on solar panels, much like the ones behind me. So the solar panels would power up the Wi-Fi hotspots and provide you USB charging units in the back, daisy chained out. I'm serious. You think I'm kidding? This is for real. All right. Yeah, it's a nil viewer count. It doesn't mean anything. David, who should I vote for? David Sponheim? Hillary or Trump? What you want to do is write in David Sponheim on the ballot. That's all you got to do. Problem solved. This way you won't have a New World Order corrupt person like Hillary or Donald, some establishment person who's not going to help you. You'll have an American who can save all the people who are like you, and as opposed to what we have with Donald and Hillary, which is this elitism that's kind of like, oh, it's just so. It's almost like they live in another world. She spends thousands of dollars on her clothes. She has no idea what you people are going through. I do. Here's a list of Hillary's planned tax hikes. This should be interesting. Well, let's be clear. She's just an extension of Obama, and she won't accomplish anything. There's nothing new in the Hillary camp. That's the problem. Yeah, unfortunately, Obama and Hillary won't give you $400 a month either, by the way, in case you were wondering. And neither one of them has an ocean pipeline project. And please don't mention Donald's Ocean Dome. He came out with that last year. He copied our idea completely. Completely copied the ocean pipeline project. It's as if he thinks he can just get away with this willy-nilly and not even get called on it. It's hilarious. I mean, the guy's must be something not working in his head. Whatever. All right, so list of Hillary's planned tax hikes. Here we go. And the 1, and the 2, and the 3. You got carbon tax delight. That's a big one. She really wants that. And carbon taxes have never been proved to work. They don't necessarily help with innovation. Oftentimes, a company like Dow Chemical can buy up a dairy digester and offset their carbon points from all the pollution from their factories of Dow Chemicals. I support a concept called innovation, which is far more effective. It's where the government steps in and does things. She scares me too, Mexicans. We've got Mexicans in here, says they're scared from Hillary. I hear you. Hillary Clinton has made it clear she intends to dramatically raise taxes on the American people if elected. She's proposed an income tax increase. Let me highlight this for you guys who really like to look closely at the fine print here, because this is really kind of going to directly affect you. Not to mention the RFID chipping and the forced vaccinations. All right, which Donald, I'm sure, will do too. Okay, tax on stock trading, a business tax increase, a death tax increase, a capital gains tax increase, an exit tax, and more. Her planned net tax increase on the American people is at least $1 trillion over 10 years, based on her campaign's own figures. Wow. And here I want to cut $1 trillion in spending. She wants to tax you another $1 trillion to cover their excess waste in the Democratic Party. You look locally at any Democratic election, it's a joke. They manipulate the votes. They'll do whatever they can to cheat, lie, steal. I ran a 2014 election against the Democrats, and they literally tried to destroy me in foreign press newspapers. They tried to destroy me every way they could. They stole 90% of my signs I put up. And we're only finding this out now because, people like me are doing the due diligence to prove the corruption. But leaks like the recent DNC leak of emails is just unbelievable. 20,000 emails that was leaked to the press, and people are eating them alive right now. They're going, oh my God. Debbie Wasserman Schultz resigned as the chairman of the Democratic National Committee. She's walked away. She can't handle the heat. A lot of things she said were against Bernie, and a lot of the people that supported Bernie feel totally left out right now. There was a recent request for people seeking a job as a crisis actor. Here it is. I played this earlier in the pre-show. Look at this. This is amazing. Actors needed for the National Convention. This is a copy of one of the ads that came out. A lot of Bernie supporters got up and left. And it says here, looking for 700 people to be utilized as actors during the National Convention. You'll be paid $50 each night for the remainder. We currently have a number of empty seats that will need to be filled, as we are currently removing a number of people and need to refill their seats for the remainder of the conference. This is grabbed off of archive.js. You can check it out yourself. Sarah will be in a little bit. She was in the cooking show. And if you haven't seen the cooking show, it is available for you guys to watch. Sarah and I did a wonderful cooking show tonight. It is up for your show. It's show ready right now. All right. Okay, so we're all kicking back. We're not using a lot of expensive purchases. A lot of you are not buying anything other than an iPhone. I'm sure even tablets are dropping under 200 now for a decent 10-inch 10.1. So the price of technology has really kind of changed the dimension of technology. And now the market's really hitting the skids. The desktop market is barely hanging on. Even the laptop market is they're talking about downsizing. So technology is shrinking because people have what they need. They don't need to keep buying the newest and fastest things. So the idea of built-in obsolescence is kind of coming back to haunt us. So the whole consumer model is kind of backfiring on the tech sector. Sarah's in the other room. She's coming in a few minutes. She does like 45-minute. She'll come in for 20 minutes. So just hang in there, buddy. I'm a class act. Plus, I don't have the stuttering problem Barack Obama has.
She's a basket case. Oh, boy. Doofus.
I would like to say that I accept the nomination for President of the United States of America, 2016. The party has unanimously supported me for the past 7 years, going on 8 years, and I gladly accept your nomination. Thank you. Well, we got that out of the way, now we can move on. No, I'm trying to stay on topic, but when people come in here and constantly give me tangential things to talk about, we change subjects. It's what happens when you have a very vibrant, interactive chat show and you have to mute people that don't have anything relevant to say. Now, everything I've talked about tonight has been relevant to our future. I haven't mentioned the renewable energy solutions that we have come up with beyond what we've talked about on the show. There's a couple of ideas that we've talked about, but we haven't discussed here tonight. The vertical windmill on every single phone electric pole in America. Millions of poles around the country could have these $1,000 windmills installed. And it would be a backbone of energy. Like 5% of our energy could come from these things across the nation. And if there's ever a major electromagnetic pulse that takes out the grid, this creates a veritable ever-ready grid, always ready to go, pumping energy. And again, this is one of my original ideas in 2008. It's taking the Savonius windmill, which is a Creative Commons, openly sourced idea that Savonius came up with, and adapting it to a carbon fiber sleeve that's flexible. They can provide guaranteed wind speeds of 5 miles per hour, electricity delivered to the grid, and can take up to 100 mile per hour winds and last 50 years. These are ideas that we need to start developing, folks. Oh, Sarah's here. So did you try it? Was it good?
Excellent.
Oh, good. I can't wait. I'm going to try it. I'm hungry.
In the oven, so go eat.
Good. I'm going to go grab some food. I'll be back.
All right. Sounds good. Fantastic. Yeah. Hello, Allura. Hello, everyone. So, they say you're laughing at a study that says secondhand marijuana smoke is worse than cigarettes. Why is that funny? Walter says virtual reality still needs another 8 to 16 times in processing power to really get really good. That sounds really good. Miss Coco asked, should put electric generating merry-go-rounds in neighborhoods so kids can get fit and make electricity. I think that's a great idea. We can use swings and merry-go-rounds, all kinds of things like that. They actually have merry-go-round pumps in some third world countries in order to get them to pump up water, because water's not as easily accessible as it here is in the United States. I think it's paused because who can handle the load of the viewer count, calculating every single person that comes into the room when it comes in this fast. So just know we have awesome viewers. You're one of them. And so that's very fantastic. I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you're one of our awesome viewers. I'm so glad that you're relieved to see me. And I hope that didn't happen, Potato Girl. I try not to upset anyone. Lou has a way to produce energy. He uses the Matrix. All right. Are you saying you use the Matrix, or you use something similar to what the Matrix used? Maybe I don't want to know the answer to that question. Oh, David has all these links open. Maybe I'll do that. Yes, I understand the viewer count's disabled. That's okay. I don't need to know how many viewers I have to make me feel good. I know that you're watching me, and that's all that matters to me. You're here, I'm here. Whoever's here are the right people. Exactly. Goodbye, Adrian. Thank you for coming into my room, and hopefully I'll see you another time. All right, Leroy has Hillary's speech on in the background. She said she'll pass a constitutional amendment to overturn Citizens United. What are my thoughts on this? I think that we need to have I think that we need to have anyone running for the same political office have the same requirements. That's what I think. And as far as Citizens United, I would love to see all money out of politics. And I'd love to see it just down to you need a certain number of signatures in each state or something like that. I would love to see that, and have the anyone running for president have the same requirements, unlike now. Whereas if you're a Democrat, you need certain requirements. If you're a Republican, you need certain requirements. If you're an independent, you need certain requirements. If you're a minor party, you need certain requirements. If you're a write-in candidate, you have to meet certain requirements. So I would like to see, if you're running for president, you have to do this in a particular state. And I think that can actually come around without an amendment to the Constitution. I think that can come around with actually the 14th Amendment that already exists, that talks about equal protection under the law. Now, the idea of Citizens United is that basically anyone can spend as much money as they want on promoting other candidates. All right. Shrimp. I guess if people sell milk, then it does come from cows that are that way. So I don't know. Oh, wow. I don't know about that, but I think David is logical and inspirational, and that's why I support him for president. And I will support him if after he serves 2 terms, then I will consider running myself if the country wants me. It's one of those things. And I really think that it's up to the American people to put who they want on the ballot. But I would love to see it be an equal playing field, right? Whereas right now it's really not an equal playing field. It's really, as they say, pay to play, it seems. It's really ridiculous. All right. This is not Congress. This is David running for president. So totally different place, different branch of the government. Huh. Okay. All right. I'm going to go like this, and then I will see how everything else is going. I don't want to see that. Okay. So Syria's jihadist group has announced it's severing ties with Al Qaeda, changing its name, according to some leader they have. Yes, vote for David. That's it. Well, you can continue to ask me questions, and then any other questions. David will be back shortly. It's not. Yes, he is a human. He has to eat. He's not a robot, as sometimes he pretends to be. So. You're too old to ask a question, Abnormal? Or some people are too old to ask a question. All right. Those are suggested for me. Business. Wow. JetBlue is launching flights to Cuba, $99 flights to Cuba. All right. And good. Some people are doing pretty well. Let me check what this is. All right. Aleppo siege is happening. See, there's latest developments over there in Syria. So Syrian and Russian forces are going to open humanitarian corridors for people to leave Aleppo. This is the day after Syria's army announced it had encircled the city, which had been besieged by rebels, and they were cutting off the supply
A devastating
lines.
day that really epitomizes the crisis Syria is under right now in two parts.
But they are also creating relief sites to distribute food and medicine to civilians. Yes, there always is, Abnormal. I don't think that anyone needs... I don't believe in spouting that people need to be destroyed at all. I think people exist. That's the nature of a chat room, I would say. Hatterat is we stay with subjects that people bring up in the chat room, and then I also look at other subjects as well. Let's talk about Syria tonight. So the Russians and Syrian government have been pounding Aleppo relentlessly for months. They've been trying to take back the eastern part of the city, which has been in rebel hands for 4 years. They've been under fire for 80 consecutive days. More than 6,000 people were killed or injured, including 4 hospitals that were hit as well. Rebel fighters have been hitting back, but of course, Syrian government now has Russian intervention. Wow. There's a lot of devastation. Aleppo is Syria's largest city and it was considered a vital economic hub. In 2012, people were speculating that there was going to be a downfall of President Bashar al-Assad in Syria, and unfortunately, I say unfortunately, the United States government has been funding rebel forces in order to make that happen, in order to create the downfall of President Bashar al-Assad. And that's really some of the reason that there's big tension with Russia and the United States. There's still an estimated 250,000 people inside Aleppo, and many of them are elderly or people that have been too sick to leave. Not often abnormal. All right. Services like running water and electricity are sporadic in Aleppo. Prices have soared on food and aid. The World Food Program says the food security situation is extremely fluid, with the crisis severely disrupting supply routes. The cost of rice has increased by 32% in 3 months and 142% since last year. The entire area is now under siege. Food and diesel shortages are likely imminent. Diesel's needed to power generators, and generators are needed to power hospitals. Walter says whoever controls the Middle East controls the world. And Antique has a picture about Sharia law. Yes, somebody linked that earlier, Mad Dog. I will definitely not be. I'll move away from people that are smoking pot. A study says secondhand marijuana smoke is worse than cigarettes, according to CBS. I didn't find that picture funny at all, Antique. Maybe I'm just not in the mood. All right. Wow. Here's some pictures in Syria. Let me just show these to you. I'm thankful that I'm not living in Syria right now. This is a picture of right after an airstrike hits the Shar neighborhood in Aleppo. They're white helmets, which are civil defense volunteers. They're carrying the body of man inside Aleppo. These are buses that are piled on top of one another to try to offer some protection from enemy fire. Yeah, I agree with you, Catch. LOL. I don't like listening to Hillary. Abnormal, maybe not in this chat room from London. I don't know. Walter's from London. He's over in our YouTube chat, but he's from the UK. This is an electricity operations room in a neighborhood of rebel-held Aleppo. This is two men and their donkey on a cart trying to navigate through bombed alleyways. Wow. Wow. And the streets monitored by regime snipers. This is someone who's in a stall waiting for customers to shop. There's reports of some people hoarding rice and flour as the regime siege tightens. There's a lot of people trying to sell, even though there's constant airstrikes. Wow. Okay. All right, and back to the beginning. I don't think America needs more refugees. I think that if we didn't have all these wars going on, then we wouldn't have refugees in other countries or